Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here tonight. My name is Sandra Firpo, and I'm an emergency services specialist with the San Mateo Consolidated Fire Department. Along with me tonight is my colleague, also an emergency services specialist, Casey Treadway, who is facilitating our Zoom meeting tonight. Thank you so much, Casey. It takes a lot to get going here, especially on Zoom. Normally, we would be together in a classroom. At other times, we would be face-to-face, and I'd get to see all of you. I'm sorry I can't do that tonight, but this is a terrific opportunity to meet you in the near future, but also via this terrific medium and technology that we have available. I know that the CERT program has suffered in being able to give residents like yourselves the training and being able to do it this way and is a terrific advantage to all of us. And so many of you have reached out and seem to appreciate having it in this way. We'll talk more about that as we get along. A little bit about me. My name again is Sandra, and I happen to be the program manager for the CERT program and here in San Mateo Consolidated Fire Department's CERT program. We cover the cities of Belmont, Foster City, and San Mateo. And so the folks who live in those three cities are the folks who are in our program. CERT is a national program, even international in some cases. They are, despite the fact that it is national, it really lives at the neighborhood level. And that's something that we emphasize. So even though you may not live in one of our cities, don't worry, we're thrilled to have you. We know that right now there's not a lot of opportunities for CERT training, or to at least start your CERT training, and we're thrilled that you could join us for that. But what's going to happen is at the end, when you have finally completed your training, you'll be able to go to your neighborhood, your town, your city, and establish yourself with that program closest to you, okay? So I started in CERT some 20 years ago when one of the first CERT classes or CERT courses was held here on the peninsula. At the time, it was called NERT, Neighborhood Emergency Response Team. And there are still some NERT programs throughout the country. We call ours CERT, and they are the same, Community Emergency Response Team. And but prior to that, I was a lifeguard, and prior to that, I was in 4-H as a kid. And one thing that really stuck with me was I was about 13, 14 years old in 4-H, and we got a call early in the morning that another family, there had been some really heavy rains, and another family's home had been hit by a mudslide, and they needed help. So a lot of us went out to assist. And I was really struck by how it obviously this wall, hill of mud had come through and left the house in splinters. And it was just nothing left. And we spent the day going through the mud and pulling out clothing and rinsing it off in the river, and just trying to do what we could to help these people try to reestablish their lives. And that's sort of when things started clicking in my head that, how prepared are you? I mean, they got away with their lives and there really wasn't anything they could do other than run. And that's fine. But in general, how does one go through the process of recovery? How prepared can you be? And some things. And CERT has been a really great empowering service to me and to a lot of people that I've spoken with. And I'm thrilled to have you here tonight, starting the process, because I was where you are right now, not all that long ago. Okay, and you'll notice that in our program, thousands of people have gone through this program, and there's about 800 of your neighbors throughout our three cities who are active CERT members. So you're not alone, and it's not something that should be daunting. It seems like it. It's a lot of information all at once, but you're going to find out that one of my favorite sayings is, "Don't worry." So a little quick housekeeping as we get started here. We have the weekly live office hours, just like this one, every Thursday, starting at 6:30. We ask that you keep your microphone on mute. And if you have any questions at any time during the presentation, don't hesitate. Put it into the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, the question and answers box, And Casey's monitoring that for me and will let me know if you have a question. So please use the Q&A box. And like I said, my number one phrase, don't worry. We're here to walk you through this whole program. Throughout the next 8 weeks, you're going to meet some of your fellow CERT members who have been taking CERT and doing CERT trainings for several years. They've become trainers and subject matter experts themselves, and they are your neighbors. They're just like you. All right, so if you take a look at your screen, just a quick note, and you go to the bottom, you're going to see some different controls, and you want the Q&A box, the one over to the side, and that one's where you would type in any questions. So anything I need to know about now, Casey? Everybody good? All right, who are these happy people? They're folks just like you. I'm sorry, go ahead.
We have a question that says, roughly how many people are on this call?
Roughly how many people? Roughly 30, but there are about 60 of you registered. So I don't know if people are doubling up on their computers. Getting back to this, who are these happy people? Folks just like yourselves. And this is going to be you in just a little while from now. This actually was a skills day just before COVID hit. And these are folks, neighbors just like you, who completed the CERT training and who are, and then they completed their skills day. So now they are CERT members. So in every class, we have certain categories, if you will, of people who are taking it for different reasons. We have new students, folks who live or work in our cities of Belmont, Foster City, and San Mateo. And we have students who might have missed a class or a unit at some point prior and are making that unit up so they can complete their training. And then we have folks who may not live in our cities, but as I said earlier, since it is difficult to find a CERT course, they are hopping on with us. So you're more than welcome, and we're happy to have you. One thing about this course, usually back in the day when I'd have all of you in front of me in a classroom, I would ask, how many of you have ever experienced a disaster? And maybe one or two might raise their hand. They've experienced a tornado or a hurricane or an earthquake, and they've had that firsthand experience. The thing about disasters, and each disaster is unique, but there are three common denominators that I've found that disasters seem to have. And first of all, they're going to impact you in three ways. They're going to impact you physically, whether your home gets damaged or destroyed, or you get hurt or sick. That's the physical part. Then there's the emotional part. And I don't care who you are or how tough you are. At some point during the disaster, you are going to feel the hit emotionally. And the third is financially. If your home's damaged, that's a financial hit. If your work or business place can't run or function for some time, you're going to take a hit. Those are the three impacts an individual may feel from a disaster. Well, this COVID-19 pandemic that we're going through, which is global, I think meets all of that criteria. So every one of us is experiencing a disaster. And that's what makes this particular class, the class you're in, unique, because everyone has a common disaster that they will be experiencing for some time. And I'm curious how that's going to impact the mindset of people, because obviously the folks who took CERT prior to COVID may or may not have experienced a disaster, but now we all have. So I think we're coming from a place of knowledge and a common spot, because we all get now the importance of having some level of preparation. And of course, what can we do? And that's what CERT's about. So let's talk a little bit about the fire department. San Mateo Consolidated Fire Department. As you may know, back in 2019, the fire departments from three cities, Belmont, Foster City, and San Mateo, merged together, came together, and became one agency, now known as San Mateo Consolidated Fire Department. The fire department, San Mateo Consolidated, is the sponsoring agency for our program. And that's important to know because you may get asked that in some of the things you're signing up for. So San Mateo Consolidated Fire Department, CERT, is the program that you are currently involved in, okay? So that's something you may want to remember. So the fire department is made up of 9 fire stations strategically located through our 3 cities. About 40 personnel are on duty at any given time. So right now, there's 40 people at our beck and call should we need them. And the average response time with these 9 fire stations to a call is about 4 minutes. And it's a very good response time, and we're thrilled that that's been maintained so well. The fire department and CERT have a good relationship together. We work with each other often. If you look on the left there, that's a skills day, and you see that Engine 24 was assisting us that day. They assist with making sure the scene is safe and keeping us, on the right path. We also have on the left, you see our fire chief, Ray Iverson, and he's flanked there with some members of our fire cadets who are young men and women who are looking at pursuing a career in the fire department. All right, so one of the things that we like to do, since we can't be in person, is a couple of opportunities to be interactive. This is our first opportunity tonight to hear from you. So we're gonna ask Casey to pop up our first poll. You've heard a little bit about me, so we wanna know a little bit about you. Which city do you live or work in? So please answer the question as it pops up on your screen. Thank you.
I'll give it a few more seconds and then I'll close the poll, Sandra.
Okay, so a few more seconds, folks. Make sure you get a chance to answer. All righty, let's wrap it up. So based on population alone, that makes perfect sense. San Mateo, 48%, Foster City 24, and Belmont 16. That makes perfect sense. And we have about 3 people from somewhere else. So thank you and welcome. That's fantastic. Really appreciate your participating in that poll. All right. The CERT motto, and you're going to hear this a lot because this is what we are and what we do, doing the greatest number for the greatest good for the greatest number. That's something that's going to get drilled into you, doing the greatest good for the greatest number. But our top priority in CERT is always your safety. So no matter what we do and how we plan, your safety is the key first. Then we decide what the plan is going to be. When you look at how CERT started, it happened after Loma Prieta earthquake, after the Northridge earthquake. That's when they started putting it together as a curriculum and starting to teach residents. But the real impetus was probably the large Mexico City earthquake, in which they realized, we've known this, I guess, forever, that people are good-hearted and they want to help. So in a disaster, people would respond and try and help people who were trapped and that sort of thing. So in the Mexico City quake, that happened. And while many people obviously died due to the earthquake, about 100 residents, spontaneous volunteers, if you will, died trying to save others. And so CERT was, sort of gotten into people's head at that point going, we need to find a way to make it more effective and safer for the average person to participate because people are going to want to help naturally. So that's the goal. How do we train residents, our neighbors, who are not professional responders, in emergency response in a safe way? And that's how CERT was born and the purpose for CERT's existence, to keep you safe. Also, as you're taking the class, you're going to hear the term rescuer. When they say rescuer, they're not talking about the professional firefighter or law enforcement personnel. They're talking about you. So whenever the term rescuer is used, it's you. Okay, so that's just a tip for how you're going to get through the course. What does CERT do in non-disaster, non-emergency times? Let's take a look. Some of this is pre-COVID, as you can tell, and this was a countywide training that was done, a drill that was done where CERT members from all across the peninsula, along with Peninsula Humane Society, National Guard, the San Mateo County Department of Health, all gathered together to set up, as in an emergency, so set up as though it were an emergency, on a shelter for people who needed to evacuate. They even hired actors to play the part of the evacuees, which was really terrific. So we got the opportunity as CERT to see what it was like to work with other agencies and to deal with different situations that would come up based on people who were evacuating after or in the wake of a disaster. In the real world, we were asked to help staff an evacuation center. This is also at the San Mateo Event Center. This was just last August after those lightning fires got started, and they asked if we would set up an evacuation center for some of the folks in southern San Mateo County who were evacuating from the fires. Fortunately, not too many people needed to come all the way out to San Mateo for assistance. A few did, but for the most part, they were able to get the assistance they needed either from friends, family, or at the evacuation center located more closely to their homes. But CERT was there and ready to help if the case arises. A lot of what we do is community service and education. There on the left is a partnership that we do with the American Red Cross called Sound the Alarm, where we go out with Red Cross volunteers and team up with them to install free smoke alarms in homes in our 3 cities. And on the right is our annual open house, which normally takes place in October. Obviously, last October we couldn't do it. This is the October before that, 2019. But we hope to do it again. We were able to do it virtually this last time, which was also an interesting experience. But CERT is always a big part of our San Mateo Consolidated Fire Department's open house. We do have a good time. We like to have a lot of fun. There on the left is Halloween, when we were passing out candy with one of the fire crews. And on the right is our summer CERT picnic, which we hope we'll be able to have again soon. And then public education, as I indicated, so we go to different fairs and events and festivals. The left there is the Visa Preparedness Day, and on the right is the San Mateo County Preparedness Day, which is usually held at the event center, also usually in September, and we hope to be able to do so again. It's a really terrific event, and it is a good opportunity for us as CERT members to be out there talking with the public about things that they can do individually to help themselves and their families, but also to promote CERT and let them know what it is that we do. On occasion, CERT teams will be specially requested on behalf of a particular agency or city. So in this case, the Belmont Police Department made a special request for our CERT program to assist the San Mateo County Sheriff's Officers search and rescue team. They were searching for an elderly man who had gone missing. They needed to cover a lot of territory, a certain area where they were hoping to find some clues. And so we, as CERT members, become a force multiplier. We're able to expand their reach by teaming up with somebody like the search and rescue team from the sheriff's office. And we were able to go out and at least cover the territory they wanted to cover. Unfortunately, we were not successful in finding any clues that day, but it is the type of thing that we might be asked to help with. We also helped with graduation ceremonies. People were switching to parade type systems. So we assisted in making sure that traffic and everything flowed smoothly and that people kept safe while enjoying the graduation from someone in their family. There's also a call center, if you will, that people are doing from their own homes. So certs are being asked to do that, and they make wellness calls, as well as perhaps if someone lives in a wildfire area and needs some information, they want to make sure people are getting the information they need in a timely way. And so that's what the social bridging project from the state of California is about, and CERT is a big part of that. Something else that we did, especially at the very beginning of the shelter in place when the pandemic first hit, a lot of our seniors were sheltering in place and couldn't get out to the senior center, which of course was closed, for lunches that they normally would get. And so they, the San Mateo Senior Center made a special request for the CERT program, our CERT program, to assist them in delivering lunches to our senior neighbors who are sheltering in place. And we were able to do about 200 hot lunches per week for a little over 10 weeks. It was a very fulfilling project, both for the seniors who of course were receiving a nice hot lunch, but especially for the CERT members who participated, because they really made a connection with a lot of people. And a lot of them came back and thanked us for participating in this, because it was an opportunity for them to give back and not feel so helpless during that time. We also were called out to help with some donations management. Some donations came through for our frontline responders. So CERT was able to take those donations and help store them and categorize them. The one on the right was donations of hand sanitizer were coming in, which is great, but they were in large buckets, and those can't be really handed out easily to people. So the CERTs converted them into individual bottles so that they could be handed out to first responders. So you never know what we're going to get called out to do, which is kind of fun. It's always an adventure. This was another call from the city of San Mateo. They wanted to set up a COVID pop-up testing site in some of the underserved neighborhoods, and they had not set one up yet, and they really needed some assistance with organizing it and staffing it. They called on CERT members, and we assisted with that. The week before, that's on the right side there, the week before, the left side, excuse me, we had gone out and canvassed the neighborhood with information on COVID-19 health, as well as letting them know that the testing site was coming up the following week. And on that day, we did about 126 people got tested for free, which was terrific. The information was bilingual, so we were able to reach a lot of people. So now, how do you get started, right, with all this? Like, hey, I get it. I want to be part of this. Let's see. So first thing, let's start with a second poll, just to see where we are. So how do you feel? If something were to happen now, how ready do you feel that you are right now? Just a few more seconds, so make sure you get a chance there to plug in your response.
We're waiting on 3 more, so hopefully you can get them in.
Okay. Hopefully they didn't run to the fridge for a snack and they're missing the poll. Oh no. All right. Here we go. Okay. So the number one response is, I think I'm ready, but not confident. Okay. Ready, but could always be better prepared. And you don't even want to think about it. Nobody chose that one. Good. I didn't want to see that. But I don't think I'm ready at all, and it makes me nervous just thinking about it. Okay. I can speak from personal experience. Like I said, I took CERT years ago, and it really was enlightening, empowering, built my confidence, and I'm hoping that it'll do the same for you. So thank you for participating in that. That was great. So let's see how you get started. And this is where we talk a little bit about how the whole program, hybrid CERT course, is going to work. Now remember, back in the day, we'd be in a classroom together and you'd receive a folder full of papers and resources and information. And we would be showing you a PowerPoint presentation, much like this, but it would include the videos and some of the information that you're going to now have to get from what's called online CERT. So let's take this one step at a time. Hybrid CERT is 3 main components. Online CERT, which is the national curriculum organized by FEMA, and it's the same curriculum across the country. So any CERT program you go to will cover everything in online CERT right now, okay? Then we have, right now what we're doing, the weekly office hours. And the purpose of these weekly office hours is to take all that information that you're learning in online CERT and localize it here. How is it relevant to you and I here? And to answer your questions directly. So if something comes up, doesn't make sense, how is this going to work for us? You can write that down and then ask the question here on our Thursday office hours. The third component is Skills Day. That's a full day of activities where you're going to get to practice and actually do a lot of what you're learning in CERT. Now, we cannot yet schedule the Skills Day because it isn't as safe to do so as we would like. So our fire chiefs, our command staff has decided that we would wait until we're in the yellow tier to schedule Skills Day. So right now, let's not worry about that. We will schedule it, and we will schedule several of them so we're able to get everybody through it, okay? But don't worry, we will get there. So right now, the only thing you have to worry about are 2 components, online CERT and the office hours on Thursday evenings. Now, the great thing is, if we were doing this pre-COVID, you'd have to get in your car, you'd have to go to the class, you'd have to, be there physically and attend, and now you can do it from the comfort of your home. Online CERT, that portion, you can do anytime you want, at your leisure. If you're one of these people who loves to binge watch and wants to finish the whole course in a weekend, great, you can do that. What we're going to do is we're going to take a unit or 2 per week and break it down that way. And that's what we're going to concentrate on each week. So next week, we will do a quick review of Unit 1, answer your questions, localize the information, make sure that you know the most important aspects of Unit 1, and and week to week we'll do that way. Okay. Online CERT itself has 24/7 technical support. So if you run into a technical problem with online CERT, you can just hit the icon and someone will be there to assist you. If it happens to be a robot and it doesn't give you the answers you need, we've also given you an email address in the directions for online CERT, and you can email them. They are very responsive, obviously not 24/7 in that regard, but they will answer you and take care of your problem quickly. If it has anything to do with CERT and the curriculum and how it works here and how we function as a program here, that's something you're going to ask me for, and I'm going to give you that contact very soon. All right.
And Sandra, so I put the link in the chat box, so feel free to check that out for what you're seeing on the screen.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Casey. So what you're seeing on the screen, the smcfire.org/CERT is our home base page. That page is laid out in the order in which we are going to do our classes. It has specific information in each class box, which would be the information that we would be giving you if you and I were in a classroom together. And again, like I said, it's broken down in the order in which we're going to do the units and the classes. All right. So you've got online CERT with a lot of information, the general information for CERT. And in online CERT, they have some terrific videos, interactive games, really, really helpful stuff. This was done by the University of Utah and Salt Lake City CERT, and they did a huge lift and a really great job at bringing that information in a way that is accessible even in times of pandemic. So, take your time with it, enjoy it, take a look and see what you can do. In addition, one of the other benefits is that online CERT is available in English or Spanish. You can choose which one to take. So if you're a better learner in Spanish, great. So, and I am bilingual, so if you have a question and you want to shoot it to me in Spanish, shoot it to me in Spanish. So that's fine. But the office hours are done in English. The skills day will be done in English, but don't worry. Everything will work itself out. We've had a lot of people who have taken this course who are not native English speakers, and they have done successfully and done beautifully. So I think you'll find it very helpful and informative no matter what. Okay, but I highly recommend you bookmark this page because, like I said, this is the home base. This will have all the information, all the paperwork that you would normally receive. And you don't have to print everything, only print what is relevant to you. Okay. All right. Something that I often hear students tell me is, oh my God, all the acronyms. There are a lot of acronyms in CERT, just like in any, government offices and things like that. There's jargon that comes with the territory. But you know what I have to say about that? Don't worry. Don't worry, because as you spend more time in CERT, as you speak with other CERT members, it's going to become part of the natural conversation and you will pick it up. So don't get thrown off. Don't think you have to memorize everything today. You will pick it up naturally as part of your CERT life. Okay. All right. So let's see what should you focus on right now, because there seems like there's a lot. Take your time. Don't worry. First thing, online CERT. Make sure you have the link that I sent you, I think yesterday as well as this afternoon, the directions to take online CERT. You want to make sure you register through online CERT and get onto online CERT, and you can choose English or Spanish. If they happen to ask what your sponsoring agency is, the answer is San Mateo Consolidated Fire Department CERT. I know it's a mouthful, but that is our sponsoring agency. Okay. So we're going to do a unit or two per week. This week we're doing unit 1, and you can take it, like I said, at your convenience. If you're a night owl and you want to do it at midnight, great. If you like to get up early at 5 a.m. and get your cup of coffee and take your classes then, terrific. You have complete control. Just get unit 1 done anytime between now and next Thursday. Okay. Every time you complete a unit of online CERT, you're going to get an email with something called a merit. Think of it as a merit badge, a reward, congratulations for having completed each unit. Okay, so this is where it's important. You want to make sure you hold on to, keep, save anything that you earn, any certification that you earn, and all of your merits, because that is the receipt that you've completed the unit. Okay, and that you're going to need in order to get into Skills Day. So keep all of the paperwork, keep all of the certifications. You don't have to print them, you can save them digitally. The Merit is an app. It's a free app from the App Store. You can download it onto your phone or whatever device you like, and it will automatically save your merits for you. Okay, so that is something you want to consider. Don't worry about it now. When you finish unit 1, you're going to get an email from Merit, and that email will show you how to set up an account, will show you how to download it. It'll walk you through the process. Again, we will walk you through the process. And then, of course, attend the office hours here on Zoom, because since we're not in a classroom together, that's our opportunity to bring the info, if you will, into focus. And like I said, we're going to meet some other trainers, some other CERT members, and they have great advice and great personal experience, which I think you will be able to relate to.
Right. And Sandra, I also included a merit link in the chat as well, per some people's request. The link I did provide you, though, is from the individual side, so it's a little bit more customized to getting set up and getting started than what you see on screen, but both are valid Merit links.
Right. So when you go to the home base page, and I'm going to go there in a little bit, but when you go to the home base page and you go to class 1, there's going to be a rose-colored box, and that's our essential documents box. And there's information on Merit there. So all the essential things, the stuff you're going to need to fill out and complete and make sure you get turned in prior to Skills Day is all outlined for you with links and everything you need in that essential documents box. Okay. All right. So obviously you folks have received my email, so thank you for that because you're here. So that shows me that you've received the link. The link for the office hours, the Zoom link, is going to be the same one every week for the next 8 weeks. So if I forget to email you or I haven't emailed you, don't worry. Remember, don't worry. Just use the link from last week, okay? You also will have received in that email instructions on how to take online CERT. And that's important because that's what you're going to need to do first. That's what you need to get onto. So this week we're doing Unit 1. Unit 1 is divided into 2 parts, 1.1 and 1.2. Don't worry. When you've completed both parts, that's when you'll receive your merit, your receipt of having completed it. So all you're focused on this week is getting onto online CERT, choosing English or Spanish, and then taking Unit 1, 1.1 and 1.2. All right. To complete CERT, to complete your CERT training, you have a couple of things. Your online CERTs, all the essential documents, the weekly office hours, and Skills Day. Don't worry, we're only focusing on one thing at a time. And Skills Day is something that we will have to deal with when it's safer to offer it. We have our CERT steering committee. They're in the process right now of organizing what a Skills Day will look like to keep it as safe as possible for all the participants, the volunteers, and you. And when it is safer to do so, and we're in the yellow tier, we're currently in purple. When we're in the yellow tier, we'll be able to schedule it, okay? And we'll be able to schedule more than one so that we can fit a lot of people conveniently. This is the best email for us. So anything that has to do with our program, how we do things here, when is the next class, whatever you have to ask, this is where you can email me. English or Spanish is fine. And so please make note of this email address because this is the one you want to use. Any questions at this point? Okay.
I'll give them a second to type, but I don't see anything yet.
All right. Don't worry, I have stuff to say. It's not a problem. But so this is going to be probably our shortest office hours, our shortest class of the 8 weeks. We have assigned 90 minutes, an hour and a half for each office hours. And most of the classes will take up that full time, so 6:30 to 8 o'clock. All of them are going to be reviewing the information that you have taken during the week and localizing it and answering your questions. We will also have demonstrations. So like I said, you're going to meet some of the folks who are here locally. They're going to show you some of their items and things that they do or how they do it or how they remember stuff. And these are really, really great tips from people who have been exactly where you are now. So you don't want to miss that. The most crucial part is something that is not included in online CERT. There's a module or a unit called triage, which we use here in California. The CERT programs throughout California use, and that's going to be taught in the medical 2 or class 4 part. So that's not going to be review. That's all going to be new. So for goodness sakes, if there's a class you don't want to miss, it's class 4. Now, questions that normally come up. What if I can't pass a quiz on online CERT? Don't worry. Every week, usually on Mondays, we will post a study guide for that unit in the home base page. And that study guide will get you through any hump. These are CERT volunteers who have taken the course that you're about to take right now. They've gone through it. They've seen, okay, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, this is confusing, and they've made a cheat sheet for you. And we'll post that cheat sheet Monday, Tuesday of every week so that you can get past any hump that you might come across. Don't worry, right? We're here to walk you through it.
Hey, Sandra, we got 2 questions that came in.
Okay.
So we have one where it says, for the essential documents, should we submit copies to an email or print, or should we hold them for Skills Day?
Hold them, please. Thank you for asking that question. Please save them. You will need each and every one of them. And then once Skills Day is scheduled, we will schedule the folks for Skills Day, the classes, and then we will need you at that point either to email it to us in advance or bring hard copies on Skills Day. You might want to do both, but right now, save them digitally, save them on hard copies, both places, whatever you feel is easiest for you. But please, please save your merits and any certifications that you earn.
And then the second question we had come in that was, roughly how long do the weekly classes take?
Okay, so the weekly classes, the office hours, we've set aside 90 minutes, an hour and a half. We will not go longer. We respect your time. We know that it's important and it's valuable and we don't want to waste any of it. So for today, this class is probably, like I said, going to be the shortest of the 8 classes because we want to help you get started, and that's what we're here for today. But from here on out, it's going to be some new material, some review material, getting to know some of our fellow certs, tips that they have, and answering your questions from the week. And we won't take more than from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Like I said, the medical 2 part is a big one not to miss, class 4, because that is a new piece of material that is not included in online cert, that for people in California, we use it here in our cert program. It's very important for you to learn it. So make sure that you're here for that live. Another question I get a lot is, what if I miss an office hours? If you miss an office hours, we're recording this. So the good news is we're recording it. We're going to post it on our YouTube channel. And yes, I will email you the link so that you can either review or watch it for the first time if you happen to miss it. Okay. But again, that might not get on to YouTube for a couple of days. So you don't want to be too far behind. If you can make it live, obviously you can ask your questions directly, and that's the advantage to doing it live. But don't worry, if you miss something, you can always catch up.
And then Sandra, just to clarify, I think for the online CERT courses, so when they're taking that unit 1 and 1 at 2, and then continuing through all 9 units, about average, how much time should they budget for each course, I think is what we're trying to get to.
So I think the way that the University of Utah tried to divide it up, and why some of them are divided into 2 parts, is they're trying to make each part no more than 2 hours. And that's, they'll include optional videos and other things which really do enhance your learning experience. But for the most part, most people told me, now let's catch up here. For the first time, since you're just registering and you're just onboarding to online cert, it's going to take you more than an hour to take the first part, if you will. But after that, each part should take about an hour, 2 at most, if you do all of the extracurricular things like the extra videos and things like that, which you don't have to do the first time through. You can always go back and do whatever you like. That's the great thing about the online CERT program, is you have a lot of flexibility. But I would budget 2 hours per part until you've gotten through a couple of parts and you see how your pace is.
Okay, great. And then I have another question that came in that says, if we're not in one of the 3 cities, will we be able to do Skills Day here?
Yes. So you are very welcome to take Skills Day here. We will help you get in contact with your CERT coordinator in your city or town. Remember, CERT Always will have a sponsoring agency, usually the fire department, sometimes the police department. Doesn't make any difference, it's the same curriculum. But we'll put you in contact with your CERT coordinator, and you'll have the option. Maybe they're going to hold the skills day before us, who knows? But if you have your completed certification from us and online CERT, you're more than welcome to take the skills day with us, and then you'll be fully trained. And then even if you move to Iowa, you can take your certification, and then all you need to do is whatever it is they require. And every program is different and unique in that they may have certain requirements just to be sure that you know their routine or their area or the hazards that are specific to them. So you may have to take 1 or 2 quick steps to do that, but the certification you receive once you've completed everything is good throughout the country.
And I think we're all caught up in questions, so.
Great. All right. So like I said, I wanted to show you, if I could stop sharing here for a second, bear with me. And let me see if I can share. All right, are you seeing that? So let's go to smcfire.org/cert and look at our home base page. I really do need to get a new picture. Okay, so here is our home base page. Actually, this is the precursor, if you will. You want to scroll down. There's some information here that you're going to want to read, but this is the button you're looking for, New Students. If you click on New Students, this takes you to the home base page. Here you go. So here are all of our classes, class 1, 2, 3, all the way through 8. Okay. And if you were to click on class 1, this is the essential documents, this rose-colored box here. Here's an intro to CERT and the participant guides. These are the CERT manuals. So we've been using online CERT manuals now for several years, actually. And you have access to them here by unit. And you have access to it in online CERT. So if you're, again, like I said, you're in the middle of online CERT and you want some clarification or you prefer to read it, if you click on an icon, a book icon, it'll take you to the CERT manual, and it'll take you to the page that refers to whatever section of the online CERT course you're on. It's really terrifically set up. But these links and videos and references are the types of things that we would have given you in person if you were in a classroom with us. You don't worry, you don't need to print all of this. It is good information for you to have access to, and this will be here. Now, every week, like I said, Monday or Tuesday of every week, we're going to put a study guide here under references. It'll be the first thing under references, study guide unit 1. So if you got stuck on something, no problem. There's the study guide. It'll be a nice cheat sheet. It'll get you through any hurdle you come across. Okay. So if you wanted to visit around and take a look, that's great. Light search and rescue. And again, videos, references, all kinds of good things for you to do. But don't worry, we're walking through it a step at a time. It's a lot of information. Some people have described the information coming in a CERT course like drinking from a fire hose, which I don't recommend. But it's a lot of information, but you're going to see it again. You're going to get to try it again. And an online CERT, like I said, you can go back and rewatch a video or do the the interactive parts of it again, and it's a really great resource. And so it's set up very beautifully, and it just takes a couple of steps in getting everything laid out, and then it's all going to make a lot more sense to you. And then the opportunities you're going to have is to talk with your neighbors who are CERT members. You'll meet some of them on the weekly Zoom office hours, but when you're at Skills Day, you're going to meet a lot of CERT volunteers, and you're going to get to talk with them about, you know, what works for you, what equipment do you use, what do you keep in your backpack. All those things is not, you know, something that I can teach. You know, it's something that comes from personal experience, and what works for you may not work for the next person. So don't go out and buy a whole ton of stuff. You're going to have a lot of enthusiasm, and I love that. Don't buy a whole bunch of stuff. Wait until you had a chance to talk to people, see what works, what doesn't work. Next week, I think I'll show you what the backpack looks like, what the basic CERT backpack looks like, which many of you will be receiving. If you are a member of our cities, when you graduate from CERT, you're going to receive a basic CERT backpack with some tools in it. That's why I don't run out and buy everything. And then you're going to receive an ID card that shows you are a member of CERT. That's why if you're not from our cities, and don't worry, if you're not from our cities, then you'll need to, you know, get connected with your local CERT program to get whatever it is that they give and they want their people to have. Okay. Casey, how we doing?
We're doing good. I do have a question that came in though, and so it's actually what I would say a two-part question.
Okay.
So someone is asking about our continuing ed presentations.
Yes.
And are they able to attend now that they started CERT, or do we need to wait until we complete the program? So that's the first part. I think we also want to touch a little bit on our public education program in this question as well, of the Get Ready, CPR, and First Aid that we also offer.
All right. Thank you. So somebody's been reading up. Very good. All right. So what happens when you finish CERTs? You've taken all the classes and you've done all the units and you've done all the online stuff and you've done Skills Day. Okay. And then that's it? No, we do not let you go alone out into the craziness. We have something called continuing education, or CE classes. Another acronym, I'm sorry. But right now, even during the pandemic, we're trying to do them once a month. And that idea there is to keep people not only engaged, but trained and at a certain level of readiness should we need them. And so we offer a lot of different CE classes throughout the year. And so a lot of those have actually transferred quite well to Zoom, and we've been able to maintain that during the pandemic, which has been great. So what happens if you finish everything except Skills Day, so you're not fully CERT? We've come up with a plan. So if you've completed everything, so you completed your online CERT and your essential documents, then you are welcome to attend our CE classes. You will not be able to be deployed or activated as a CERT member should we be called upon to do so, but you are going to be able to continue your training until you are able to get through Skills Day, and then you'll be a full-fledged member of CERT. On the public education side, as San Mateo Consolidated Fire Department, we also offer other courses. One of them is called Get Ready. So let's say you have a friend or family member who is not quite ready to commit to an 8-week course of study and do CERT. But everybody needs some information and needs some preparedness skills. So we offer a 2-hour free class to the community called Get Ready. And we have one coming up in February, which is, I believe, on the 17th, a Wednesday night. And it's a 2-hour class. It's on Zoom. Folks will be able to sign up for it on Eventbrite probably next week. And just like you signed up for this class here. So if you have somebody who's not quite ready to commit, have them do the Get Ready class. We're also offering Get Ready in Spanish. It's called Preparedness. And that one we're going to be offering in March. I believe the date is 20th. I know it's a Saturday morning. Also on Zoom. So if you have friends who are Spanish speaking and they're not quite up to CERT just yet, please encourage them to look for the Preparedness class, which is coming up in March. We also offer CPR and first aid courses. Now, due to the pandemic, and obviously these are hands-on types of courses, we have not yet been offering them. But we are in the process of converting it to a hybrid offering, and hopefully in a couple of months, we'll be able to offer it again. So look for those on Eventbrite as well. So we have a lot going on, and I'm very excited. But this step that you've taken is a huge commitment for yourself, for your family, and your community, and we are very grateful. So any other questions on the homepage or anything like that? The main thing you want to concentrate on this week, trust me, is getting onto online CERT and getting started on Unit 1. And like I said, if you want to go on and finish the whole course or take 3 or 4 units, that's great. But we're going to do 1 unit or one or 2 units at a time per class these 8 weeks. Okay. Oh, by the way, thank you. I had this in my head to mention. If you are someone who is making up a couple of trainings to complete your CERT training, FEMA has updated the curriculum just as of last fall. So the order in which they are taught, the class numbers have changed. So please go by topic, not unit number. So if you're looking to make up a class, let's say you need to make up light search and rescue, then make sure you're looking up light search and rescue, not whatever class number it was before. Okay. And every program sometimes does it differently. So again, don't go by class number, go by topic. But no matter what, we will cover it all. And we will walk you through it step by step. So don't worry. All right. With that, I'm going to let you guys have the rest of the evening to relax and take in all the information. Again, if there's anything that you need or that comes up, if it's an IT, if it's a technical item with the online CERT program from the University of Utah, I gave you their email address, but they also have the 24/7 icon for IT for them. If it's something to do with CERT in general or how we use it here in our area, then that's a question that you can send to us. All right. We're very excited to have you here. It makes a huge difference in our community for our general resilience and preparedness. We are a force multiplier for our emergency responders. CERT is a part of our emergency plan for the community and the county. So we're thrilled that you are taking part in this course of study. Casey, thank you again for all your invaluable help.
Yeah, I think we also have one more poll that we want to ask too, right?
One more poll. Thank you very much. Before you go, we have one more poll, and Casey's going to launch it for me here. All right. Yes, we definitely need to know, how did you hear about CERT, especially this particular course? So if you'd be so kind as to let us know, that would be great.
Give them a few more seconds for it to roll in. And we also have one more question after this. So I'll let you talk about the results and then I'll go into that.
Thank you. All right. Did everybody answer? All right. City newsletter. Yes, gotta love those city newsletters. Thank you for reading that and being part of the community. That's great. Social media and word of mouth are pretty much neck and neck, and some other way. I'm gonna have to hear about what some other way is. That's great. But thank you guys so much. That's fantastic. It does help us quite a bit. And by the way, from time to time, you're going to be receiving a survey monkey from us, an email survey monkey. That helps us a lot too, because your input is very important to us, helps us improve the program. You know, sometimes we overlook something or didn't even think of something, and you guys are the ones who really bring it to our attention. So if we do send you any survey monkeys we send you, please take a chance to answer it there. And what was the last question, Casey?
So it's regarding how LA has evolved their CERT program to what they're calling neighborhood team programs. And they are asking, is it a similar curriculum that we will eventually see appear near NorCal? And so I'll help you answer this one, is that And looking at the program that LA has, CERT is a continuously evolving program. It continues to build upon best practices and new development. So who's to say what's coming up here next? But if you have anything to add to that, Sandra, we'll look into it a little bit more too as well.
So if you've, like I said, we started out as NERT at the beginning when I first took this curriculum, and the curriculum has changed and updated quite a bit over the last several years. But Neighborhood Emergency Response Team is the same curriculum as CERT. For example, San Francisco uses NERT, and they have it divided up by neighborhood. We are also divided up by neighborhood, and when you get further along in CERT, you will learn about that. But we call ourselves CERT, Community Emergency Response Team. There is a National CERT Association, which people who are CERT members can join. It is an optional part of it. It is not mandatory at all, but just as a reminder. And even internationally, I've met teams from as far away as Chile and Japan. And considering that they have earthquakes like we do, there's a lot in common there about what we learn from one another. So it is, like Casey said, a constantly evolving program, which is terrific because we're always learning something. And like I said, after you finish your basic core CERT training, then you can, start taking other classes in other areas, maybe that you want to learn from, or a skill you want to build to. We have some fantastic subject matter experts in our program. We have a structural engineer who talks about different ways of assessing damage to a building. We have people who are emergency room nurses and trainers who can handle all kinds of emergencies and help us understand how better to react. We have some really fantastic wealth of information. I constantly learn from them, and I know that you will too. So there's a lot out there that will be available to you once you've completed the basics of our CERT program. All right.
And I don't see anything else that's come in yet, so I think we're all good.
So we're going to wrap it up for tonight. I look forward to seeing you here next Thursday at 6:30. If you have any friends who are interested in CERT, we will continue to allow residents to register for CERT through Eventbrite up until next week. After that, it's way too difficult to make it up. So if you have somebody who's on the fence, now's the time to make the decision. Encourage them to join you. It's much more fun taking the class with someone else. And you'll have somebody to bounce ideas off of and discuss what you learned. But no matter what, you've always got me to bounce things off of, so don't worry. Don't worry, have a wonderful week. Get on online CERT, and we will see you next week. Thank you so much. Be safe.